Hi and welcome. This is Zish, Visionary Life Hacks, here to connect, here to inspire, here to be the change. If you're watching the live, welcome. If you're watching the replay, welcome. And if you share this, thank you for sharing. It was obviously a good, great live, worth sharing. So I had a question today from a really good friend, and it was all about, read the comments here, and so like just now somebody's written on my post, Morgellons doesn't exist. And if they're saying Morgellons doesn't exist, that's because if they're saying Morgellons does exist, that's because they're living in the old paradigm of viruses existing. And so we're coming from a totally different paradigm here with Visionary Life Hacks. We're coming from the paradigm of, okay, we thought it was Morgellons, okay, we thought it was Lyme's, okay, we thought it was this, but now we've come to realize that viruses don't exist, and as terrain theorists, we're moving into, well, if a virus doesn't exist, then what actually is happening? And it looks to me like we're being poisoned. It's not natural to be living amongst blue light, electromagnetism, the artificial intelligence, the digital being the new psyop. So we're really coming at the, the interoperability, the Internet of Nano Things, the wide body area network, the works of Sabrina Wallace. And so we're kind of looking at things from a totally different post-human, now looking at the AI and the transhuman and the things that are actually coming down on us from the air. Like everybody's now breathing in nanoparticulate. Also within this equation has been the exposure to certain nanomaterials that have been put into us, to many people, under emergency measures. And because that's happened as well, there's now the whole narrative of the spike, don't shed on me, and all that kind of thing. So then if you look at like what normal people are eating, be it what they're putting on their skin, what they're putting on in their shampoo, their toothpaste. We haven't even got to the alternative movement, the health movement, the New Age movement, the 5D Nordic alien movement. We're looking at just the normal movement where you go into a supermarket, what's in the food supply, what's in the fats, what are you being told that is safe to eat, what isn't good to eat. And then there's the push-pull where people are then getting into the organics and the biodynamics and the A2 dairies. But then also you have to factor in the nanomaterials that are now coming down on us from the different elements, be they in our water, be they in the air, be they in our clothing, be they in the plastics, be they in the food supply, your GMOs, your novel foods, you might then be, well, I'm getting myself well. I'm taking diatomaceous earth. I'm taking aluminum silicate. Like, who in their right mind puts aluminium silica into their bodies? Well, usually, like this truther movement listens to the next goofy guru that's been promulgated through the primitive AI that is putting it into your algorithm. We're standing for something like the ivermectin. Like, who in their right mind, when you're on that journey as a holistic father, not the smartest man in the room, who would give that to their horse? I wouldn't give that to my horse. I wouldn't give that to my insects that are making my soil fertility. So why would I give that to my horse? Because some goofy guru came up with some idea that you needed some pharmaceutical that I personally wouldn't put into my body. So why would you give it to your horse? Why would you put it into your closed loop system? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a quick overview of how we got to this place. Sure, you want to help people that have had the gene editing software, but you can't. There's ways that you could, but it's going to take a lot of hard work and the removal of a human being that has been fooled into putting this into their body, and then put them into some sort of shamanic Mandan lodge in the earth with no technology around them. It's a real, and so for those that haven't had the gene editing software, because I have to turn people away that are interested in the antique Tesla healing devices or the anti-nano triangles, because it's not about this. It's about the integrity of what you're doing and the knowledge that you have on the individual journey that you're on in that moment in time. So, you're not a Lyme's disease. You're not a 115 hertz frequency. You're not any of those things. You're a multiple wave of oscillation. The true Rife machines, the true technology works with sideband generators. It sweeps through the megahertz. So you might think, ooh, I'm a Lyme's. And it's like, no, you're not even a Lyme's anyway, because you're not acknowledging now that there's a synthetic biology, nanotechnology that we're all breathing in. Some of us have actually put it into our bodies. You can look at Rice University Tesla phoresis. These videos that I do, it's the same thing over and over, and still people come to me and message me privately and ask me the questions based on this narrative that I'm sharing with you today. So you might be like, Zish, why did you start to make the anti-nano triangles? What was it? There were people that were putting shungite in their water and it was making them magnetic, women specifically. We had to demagnetize them. We had to ask ourselves, what is this technology? Who is Nikola Tesla? What is magnetism? And from being humble enough to know that we don't know, you've got to come from that place of coachability that you actually do not know. Like, what is magnetism? And when you hear it from professors that they actually don't know, like, you know, leading professors in gyroscopes at Imperial College London don't even know what magnetism is. We actually don't know a lot. So, hi Stacey. So the answer to the question is no. People, and I actually spoke to somebody today that's doing Metatronic healing. So they're working with, hi Erwin, hi brother, they're working with the field. Your parcel's ready. I'm going to get that sorted in the next day or so. So when you're looking then at the technology, why can you not, if somebody has had that, why can we not use it? We had people, that had the Lyme's disease. They realized they didn't have Lyme's disease. They realized that they were dealing with a payload. So I had someone today come to me and say, your Morgellons does exist. And it's like, no, I understand what you're saying. You think Morgellons is a virus and it exists. You're not seeing what you think you're seeing. You're convinced in your mind because of the paradigm that you're in, which is the germ paradigm, which is now old paradigm. It's like looking at something from a Darwin perspective or looking at something from a Goethe perspective. And I choose to look at things from the Goethe perspective, which is more of a spiritual science, and it's not so compartmentalized, and it involves you, the human being, the spiritual being, having a human experience looking at the light. You have to factor in that you're part of the equation and you're more than just a body, aren't you? So, you know, and I'm not the smartest man in the room, it's just from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. And, you know, like, are exorcisms real? You know, are demons real? You know, do angels exist? What is an angel? What does it relate to? Is it connected to the angles? Is it connected to the planets? Are we connected to the, are we all interoperable? And so when you look at the roots of the Tesla technology, when you look at the roots of the Crookes tube, when you look at what happened to Raymond Rife, when you, what was that? Something, oh yeah, it's my screen went off. When you look at what happened to Raymond Rife, when you look at what happened to Wilhelm Reich, oral chelation with EDTA will, no, I wouldn't do that, Erwin. I wouldn't do the EDTA. Or, no, I wouldn't do zeolites either. No, I wouldn't use zeolites either. I wouldn't use zeolites. I wouldn't use EDTA because again, it's all connected to the nano materials, and you don't put like a silica is a nano material, and then when they make a nano aluminium silicate and they put it in, I know why you think that you need a zeolite. I know why you think you need an EDTA, but you're better off learning about more simple home remedies. I've got it. Okay, so you're better off using simple home remedies. Things like borax salt, which is in the original family physician journals. Silica, aluminium silica, you do not want to put into your body. It will turn you into a conductor, and it will turn you into a hackable human, a transhuman robot. That's what it will do. You do not want to put aluminium silicate into your body. Anything nano is going in on, it's like, for example, like people put shungite in their water, and I know why they put shungite in their water, but they're wrong to put shungite in their water because shungite is a fullerene, which is a graphene, which you really don't want to put into your water. It's going to make you magnetic. It's going to turn you into a conductor. Same as going alkaline. Same as putting diatomaceous earth, which is another kind of silica. You know, it's like already you're dealing with nanomaterials that are being sprayed on you from the sky above. So why would you want to then put more of that stuff into your body? And so when you look at the people behind the creation of a lot of the... Now, my zeolite argument, I think, is quite valid. Like, where in nature... Let's look at a country where there's... Let's look at two countries where there's zeolites naturally occurring. Hi, Anna. Hi, Maria. What do you think crystal shen? Crystal shen. I don't know. What is crystal shen? So when it comes to something like zeolite is when the seawater comes together with the volcanic elements and it creates this mineral called zeolite. And then you have to clean it, and you have to filter it, and then you can put it into some liquid, and then you have to make it absorbable to the body, and all the process in it is just crazy. But when you look at where the zeolite comes from, like Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean, the mineral of the volcano is amazing. And the first plants that grow from the mineral in the volcano are the noni fruit, which is like a gooseberry. And you can eat that gooseberry, and it's like you want to eat that fruit. And you're going to get all the benefits of what a zeolite does, and much, much more, from the fruit that is the expression of the land of Hawaii, and it contains all the good minerals. But you're taking in homeopathic doses, but you're getting the benefits of the fruit. You do not see anything in nature really eating the zeolite. Now, you can then look at the hot spring. I think it's great to go into a hot spring and enjoy the sulfur springs and enjoy that. It's really good. But you don't see the monkeys in Japan in the hot springs taking the water, distilling it, making a salt, and ingesting the zeolite. But you see them bathing in the hot spring, and they're getting the benefits of the hot spring. It's just, we're just not supposed to put aluminium silicate into our body. Now, clays are a different thing. Growing food on fertile, rich soil is a great thing. And you can do the very best you can to be organic and biodynamic and permaculture, but we're still being chemtrailed. So then putting in nanomaterials when you're being sprayed with nanomaterials, and then putting nanomaterials into your body, when you look at the Rice University video on test, thank you, Anna. What is crystal shen? When you put the when you're putting nanomaterials into your body, then because some goofy gurus told you to do it, and putting methylene blue into your brain and dyeing your brain blue, and then taking all these fulvic minerals and going alkaline, and taking C60 and nanosilver and ivermectin, you're creating a real distortion in the human template, and you're just not nourishing yourself. When life is so much more simple, like getting right with your saturated fats and nourishing yourself and being kind to yourself and looking after yourself and not falling for, like, it's like they took the good technology from the Tesla, from Lukowski, from Raymond Reif, from Wilhelm Reich and Schauberger and all those 120 holistic doctors that strangely passed away. And then they give you this new age, you know, they destroy the West as we know it and the Christian impulse, and they bring in all this new age. Like, look at the members of those You Shall Have Nothing and Be Happy. They're into these new age gods, like your Blue Shiva, you know, and all these kinds of people. And they're saying to you that, you know, what they say, they're saying, now take my Rife machine and dye your brain blue and take my Rife machine that's digital, because you're a frequency, you're a flower of life. You know, you're going to ascend to the 5D and the Nordic aliens are going to come and save you. Take my zeolite, take my spooky device. When the technology is supposed to be analog. And so when you've got past the idea that you're a virus or a germ, and you're now embracing the fact that, well, if a virus doesn't exist, then how am I having these symptoms of a flu or a detoxification symptom? Surely then is my area being pulsed with radiation, and my body's going, oh my God, this is poison, and there's meteorological things happening like comets coming in and, you know, Valhallan belts. You know, they say a lot of these mushrooms came in through galactic waves and shit from other planets, spores. Hi, Joff, bueno gente. So, and we're coming in from all these, you know, and then if the human being is being poisoned and you're having these detox symptoms that resemble a flu-like symptom, you know, and then what you're doing is you're basically your body's being poisoned and your body's trying to deal with it. But I always say, like, keep it so simple, like your essential oils. And so when you've got out of the whole I'm a virus, and then you realize that you're being poisoned with nanosynthetic biology from the geoengineering and whatever food you're eating and the organic food that you're eating, because your organic food's outside and you're eating your kale and it's outside and it's being sprayed on by nano, and your food's being sprayed with nano, and you know, your clothing's got, if you're wearing normal clothes, and you're putting normal stuff on your hair and you're spraying your body with stuff, and you're putting, you know, all this stuff, and you're eating, you know, you're cleaning your teeth with your organic toothpaste that has silica in it, which is a nanomaterial, and you're taking your supplements that have the titanium dioxide, which is a nanomaterial, and you're guzzling your C60 because you're really healthy, and you're taking in nano silver because, you know, you're really healthy, and this is what Goofy Guru David Wolf said to you to do, and you're taking all these nano things because Goofy Guru said to take it. And then you're wondering, you know, now I'm connecting to the 5D and we're going to ascend because of the white hats. And it's just crazy. I'm using my spooky device. But then you realize that you're being sprayed with nanosynthetic biology. And then you start using a digital machine on you. And because you've got all these nanomaterials in your body now, and if you've had that, you've now got those nanomaterials in your body, which you can't use my machines if you've got that. But you've got all these nanomaterials in your body because you've been taking your aluminum silicate, you've been taking your C60, now you're conductive, and now the spooky digital machine, which I will not touch, or my iTerra wand I will not touch, because they're weaponized and they're trickster devices. That's why I work with the antique Tesla healing devices and build new anti-nano triangles, which if you want them, I can build you one, and my friend Yanis can build you one. And you can use the simple salt bathing, which is so simple that anybody can do it. Borax, trisodium phosphate, Epsom salt, sodium bicarbonate, grey sea salt, red salt, black salt, essential oils. You don't need to be putting zeolites in your body that you don't even know if they work, and they're turning you into a conductor for the biodigital Internet of Nano Things, Internet of Things, turn yourself from smart to an idiot. Biodigital ID plus Internet of Things equals idiot. You can't make this stuff up. So the question is how am I to remain human in a post-human world, life after viruses that don't exist? Because viruses do not exist. Look into the invisible rainbow. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Become a student. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those that cannot read and write, but will be those that cannot unlearn, relearn, and learn again. You do not, oh, I was so naive. No, you weren't naive. You just fell for something. Now you know you've fallen for it. Now you're strengthening your bullshit detector, logic, and now you're developing resilience, and now you move forward. Wow, my delusion was just burst. You work for Big Pharma. No, I don't. Okay, and people have died from using the spooky device. People have died from using the spooky device. So there's a list in here of the no-nos. If you want a device, come and connect with me. If you want to talk about it, come and connect with me. More than happy to share ideas with you. I'm in this state of like, how do I remain human? I'm never going to be the smartest man in the room, and I'm just a dad who knows some things. I keep things really, really simple. I do walk my talk, and I do the very best that I can. I'm just answering the questions that came to me today. The machines should not be digital. If you just take one thing out of this today, the machines should not be digital. Okay? They shouldn't, and you shouldn't be paying 10 grand for a machine that I sell to you. You can go to someone else, they'll sell you the machine for 10 grand. You can get a machine from me. The most that I'll sell a machine for will be about 2.5 grand. They're from about £400 sterling, £400 sterling, right the way up to about 2,500. And that's the most you'll ever pay for a machine from me. I can build you an anti-nano triangle for about £300 sterling. If you're in America, Canada, you can translate that. And the salt formula, you can make it yourself. Essential oils, you can get them from Revive Essential Oils. It's really important to keep it simple, stupid. If you want supplements, I've got vetted supplements. I do work with some things like Siberian Shilajit from a very good, reputable source. Some people will say don't do Shilajit, but I've been taking it for years and I think it's fine. If it's from a reputable source where you know that it's pretty clean. I don't do fulvic minerals. I don't do diatomaceous earth. I don't do methylene blue. I don't do any nanoparticle supplements like nano silver. I don't even do colloidal silver. I'm getting more now into tissue salts and like keeping things really, really simple as a father. Like your A2 dairy, your pasture-raised steaks, your green coconuts, your superfoods like your cacao, your herbs, your spices, your essential oils, your extra virgin olive oil, bathing in the salts, using essential oils all the time. And, and look, if somebody wants to say pine box, great for you, yeah, it's great for you. If they want to say tobacco is great for you, a good organic tobacco is good for you, then yes, it is potentially better for you than a store-bought tobacco, but you mustn't lead people to think that it's going to destroy the nanotechnology, because it's almost like that Anna Miller-Halacia or whatever saying you can't use devices. It's like, no, they're talking about little bits and they're not zooming out, looking at the whole. With Zish, I'm a holistic lifestyle practitioner on myself. So what I share with you is I'm looking at the interoperability of the whole. Everything from the clothes that I'm wearing, to the bedding that I'm laying on, to what I'm cleaning my teeth with what I'm mouth rinsing my mouth with what I'm putting on my feet, with what I'm breathing in. And I know that I'm breathing in chemtrail geoengineering because I see it every day. And if you want to do the test, you can do the red wine test. And so this isn't even open to debate now. I'll have people come to me and go, Morgellons does exist. I'm going, no, I understand what you're saying, but we're beyond Morgellons now. We're in synthetic biology payload. If you haven't had the gene editing software, that's good. Let me read the comments. Tissue salts, I can't wait to hear about. I'm a clinical aromatherapist and acupuncture practitioner. Kate, that's amazing. I think my machines actually cover all the acupressure points. My machines cover all the acupressure points. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Kate. How much? Anna, how much for what? Free PDF, Arthur Furstenberg. Yes, the Arthur Furstenberg free PDF is in my private, well, it's not my private, is in my group, my Tesla Healing Device group, also Silent Weapons, Silent Wars. Arthur Firstenberg's work is really good, alongside Dr. Tom Cowan's book, The Contagion Myth, is really, really good. I think it was my friend Zareen, who's a sound healer in Dubai, brought me the attention to Arthur Firstenberg, which I think then Dr. Tom Cowan talks about. I'm a clinical aroma, fantastic. See, acupuncture, I had an amazing vet. He was an aromatherapist. No, he wasn't an aromatherapist. He was a acupuncturist and a homeopath and a conventional vet. And I've seen the miracles on my animals. See, do you see what I'm saying? If you know that acupuncture works, that's why I use the machines. The machines work on the acupressure points and the chakra system and the wide body area network. So I really focus on all of those traditions. Your Ayurvedic, your traditional Afghan medicine, your Hippocrates medicine, your Galen medicine, your homeopathy, all the knowledge that the doctor was using and utilizing pre-1919. That's why my machines are from 1919, because it's about the great in the food, the great in the natural medicine, and the great in the technology. Thank you, Kate. That's awesome. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you, Anna. I'm a clinic. I'll be at my first acupuncture appointment next week. I can hardly wait. Yes, when I first seen my vet doing acupuncture on German Shepherd dogs back in '96, I was like, wow, this stuff's amazing. If it can work for them, maybe it can work for me and my babies. And the rest is history. 1996, seeing the scammers back then, the ones that were part of that whole boogeyman recently. I've taken 12 cell salts for years. You go look up Santos Bonacci. I followed him. I know Santos from years and years and years ago. He used to hang out with my friend Dr. David Jubb, who's a life colloid specialist. He's all that syncretism bloke. But I think where Santos is missing the point is he's encouraging those people selling the root zeolite, which I think he's missing a load of things as well. He's also looping his we, and when you loop your we and you're not putting it through an anti-nano triangle, you're just looping nano technology as well. So then, you know, I'd happily, I've tried to, he speaks about astrotheology and tissue salts. Yes. Yeah, that's good. I like his astrotheologian stuff. There's also another guy called, there was another guy at the time that I was studying all that stuff was, what's his name? He's an Irishman, lives in America. I can't remember his name now. He talks about the Tuatha De Danann. No, any of that for me since 1986. I became an anti one of those in 1986. Fabry the Machines. I went to Ian Crane talk January. Yeah, long live Ian Crane. Sorry to hear his loss. I don't trust that whole UK column lot because I think they threw David Noakes under the bridge. But that's another story. But I did like Ian Crane. He was doing some good stuff with all the fracking and all that. But he died a really sad death, to be fair. It was quite sad. Anna Taylor, well, just reading your comments. Yes, machines work on energy lines. I discovered on my own that when I use copper handle... Yeah, my friend's doing acupuncture in his clinic where I put a big machine and a Tesla machine in his clinic because he couldn't see any more people that had the you-know-whatter. They were tiring him out. And now what he does is he puts the needles in and he collects them up to electrodes and they're pulsing. He's pulsing them in with the electrodes. Let me show you my machines. I'll show you one of my machines now. Okay, but I better wrap it up now. But I kind of got the gist of it. So here's my machines. If anybody wants a machine, let me know. I've got proper 1900 Tesla healing devices. Original antique before they were geoengineering, so it's pure plasma technology. This is a historical set, historically accurate, and it's in mint condition. It's a really beautiful set, especially for a practitioner or somebody that's getting into all things related to metabolism. Everything I do is all about the metabolism. If the body is receiving everything that it needs, and they're actually anti-P by nature. And if the body is receiving everything that it needs at the cellular level, the body is able to let go, it's able to build, it's able to restore. So that's really what my focus is on. Things like the master amino pattern, switches the lymph on in about 23 minutes, 99.9 net nitrogen utilization, flooding the body with nutrient dense, good stuff. and just satiating your body, bone broths that heal, Louise L. Hay, getting your stinking thinking right, letting go of the baggage, and just doing the very, very best that you can. I send my machines all around the world as well, so if anybody wants a machine. Michael Tazarian, Kate, that's it, Michael. It was on the tip of my tongue. Thank you, sister. Hey, Phil, how you doing, Phil? Long time no speak. I met Phil years and years ago, the natural beekeeper. And then I found Rudolf Steiner's work on biodynamic beekeeping, and the lovely lady at the Beekeepers Trust, what's her name, the lady down in the Ashdown Forest. It was nice to meet you, Phil, at Embercombe. What a beautiful place. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. This was Brother Zish, Visionary Life Hacks. If you would like to learn more about my Tesla healing devices, you would like to know how I'm using the Tesla healing devices around the Internet of Nano Things and remaining human, with the anti-nano triangle and the simple bathing salts alongside everything else that I'm doing to remain human, then connect with me. I'm very, I'm sure we can help those that have had the mRNA gene editing software, but they're going to need to have all that dark Metatronic stuff that's been put into them, that strange Franken nano kind of demonic stuff that's been put into their bodies, the crimes against monkeys, crimes against nature, and somebody has to, it's very, very bad what's been done. The only way I can see that they can be fixed right now from the research that I've done is they'd have to be totally disconnected from all forms of Arthur Furstenberg, the invisible rainbow. That's the only way, because that's what's helping to assimilate and to self-promulgate the self-assembling inside the body. It's not just graphene. It's quantum dots. It's polymers. There's so much more to it. There's a whole list of things that's going on. I was actually talking to, quickly, I'll wrap this up. I was talking to a nanochemist the other day, and nano is like your modern day GMO. Think of it like lead. And I was talking to him, and I was sharing with him what I'm doing with the anti-nano technology and the salts, and he said, that's fantastic, because they make that stuff. They know how to disassemble that stuff. So you have to disengage it in a safe way. And you mustn't use the digital, because digital is the new psyop. So we have to remain acoustic, analog, your qigong, learning new things, keeping the brain functioning, getting the melatonin-rich foods into you, eating the color of the rainbow, learning about the Chinese medicine, the Tibetan medicine, the Ayurvedic medicine, the Afghan medicine, the Hopi shaman medicine, keeping things simple, the Ashaninka, the African shaman, getting right with the knowledge, the Dr. John Christophers, the Schultz, the cayenne peppers. Simple, simple, simple. Keep it simple, stupid. I take from the Chinese medicine, I take from the Ayurvedic, I take from the Afghan medicine systems, and I bring it all in. I don't, I keep myself flexible and open to brand new ideas, because it keeps the brain youthful, learning new things. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. This is Brother Zish, Visionary Life Hacks, here to connect, here to inspire, and here to be the change from my heart to yours. Make it a great day.